just traveled to Besnard Lake. It was a long day, roughly 9 to 10 hours of driving. I'd say probably closer to 10. And all through rain, mud, everything. Car's gone now, but you can see the sun is out. This is not the camp spot we were expecting. Evidently the government campground is now all seasonal leases, so the kind folks here at Besnard Lake Lodge have allowed us to camp here in their little camping area. So we've kind of set ourselves up here. We have a little bit of a fire going and just waiting for it to mature, and we'll be putting some steaks on it for tonight. This is not really roughing it camping, but it's kind of a gateway to roughing it. So we'll tomorrow we've got a dock just on the other side of our canoes there, and we're hitting the lake and heading off that way. This is the chaos of a first night. Safeway bags, that's not allowed on the trail. Pringles, well, we'll eat those later. Yep. But everything's on a table. We don't get tables in the wilderness. Everything's everywhere, but we're not complaining because look how nice it is. First day where we'll be paddling. It's a touch before 8 and just getting the final touches on the camp. This is somebody else's, but the rest of it I think we pretty much got everything. Now we just need to put the canoes down to the water on the conveniently located dock and we're out of here. 10 after 8. We've loaded our canoe. I just need to get in and put my PFD on. Boy, are those folks raring to go. They're off already. We got to catch up. First day of paddling, and it looks like we're christening all our gear. That's Lynn and Michael up in the distance, and I think they think this is a race of some sort. Okay, it's starting to unleash on us a little bit now. This should be fun. Everybody's enjoying themselves still. Lunchtime on the grassy knoll. It's just a little afternoon, just a perfect time to finally come in from that wind, and we found a little spot on an island here that for the most part gets us out of the wind and the sun, and it's not a heck of a lot more than what you see here, but we're gonna do a nice lunch here and see if we can extend our day a little further than we thought we would get today. We ran through a bunch of wind and sideways and behind us for the most of the day. Made some super great time. And now we're looking at the channel that leads to the portage out of the lake. As you can see, people are getting a little slow and tuckered. The lake at this point looks really nice, but if you kind of go back and around the corner, you're going to find white water and wet and wild. So it's pretty nice and beautiful in here, and nearing the end of our day, we're really looking forward to it. Hey, Lynn. That's the portage up there, somewhere to the right of the V. We are just waiting for Lynn and Michael to finish doing some stuff on the shore, and then we'll be heading over there. Guess where we are tonight, folks? Tonight we are staying on the first portage of getting out of Besnard Lake into Black Bear Island Lake. And this was a couple of 100 meters into the portage was this nice plateau where they just had kind of areas to the side and this nice flat rock that we could just sit down and kind of make camp. Getting water is a little bit of a challenge because it's a little ways away, but other than that, this is actually a really nice spot to be hanging out. So now we're just waiting for the inevitable let's go to bed call and waiting for the fire to die. We just got up and had a bit of coffee, put our tents away. It's about 7:30-ish. People still kind of doing that. Still need to make our lunch and get ready for the day for the most part. Yesterday was a long day. I think we said we did somewhere around 30 to 32 kilometers, but we had a really good helping wind that got us to this point, which gives us a real good kick on today. Today is portage day, and then hopefully we can find a camp spot somewhere after. So this is us after the first portage. We had to pull out of that bay out there. Over there you can see Lynn and Michael kind of loading a little bit of a stream where it comes out, and we are going to be just basically heading down, and just before the next set of rapids down there we are going to get out and do some more portaging. Good. So there is the last set of rapids or thing we had to go around. There's our last portage. Hopefully for the day. I think we have a little bit of something to run up there, but from what I remember it should be runnable. And there's the last little ripple we needed to run. Now I believe we're pretty much get to Black Bear Island Lake through that little channel. No more rapids, no more portaging today. 10 o'clock-ish, so a couple hours for lunch and then a few hours and camping. We're roughly a day ahead of where we were last time we were here. So it's about 11:15 and we are just doing a lunch here. This is Black Bear Island Lake. Last time we passed through here, a lot of this was pretty green still. Over there I think might have been still a forest fire, but I think some of the thing in the distance is all since the last time. But we were lucky we found this little outcropping just before we head on down the lake. So we're gonna eat a little bit of a lunch and continue on. So we go right around here and that way. 12 o'clock, we just finished our lunch and now we're kind of looking at heading into this weather, but we'll actually be kind of going with the wind a little bit, maybe to the side. We've all had a little bit of bite to eat. Some people were getting a little chill with the wind and not working so hard, so we're looking forward to getting back into the canoe and warming up. So we're just stopping for a break. We came from that away and we are heading off to that away. Right now it's lightly raining. It's been kind of mostly not raining today, but the occasional drizzle and now we are kind of going with the wind for the next few kilometers. We're not too far away, maybe about an hour, possibly a little bit more, but and it's only 10 after 2. So if everything goes well, then we should be in fairly early if we can find a camp spot that isn't occupied or burnt to the ground. Supper time. Everything's changed a little bit for the weather. The wind changed a little bit, and it stopped raining, and we do see some blue sky. We're very suspicious whether that'll actually make it our way, but we're hopeful. It has rained all day, and somehow we were able to get this fire going, so we're pretty happy about that. And everybody's kind of got their different amalgamation of meals. And we still think today, with all the cold and all the wind and all the rain, was a thumbs up. So now that the sun is out, everybody's super happy. It's like, oh, this was the best day ever. Well, that's the way paddlers are. We're a funny bunch.
Happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada Day, paddlers. Well, we're off and running. It's about 20 to 9. The water is a little on the rough side, but we decided to take an extra 2 kilometers to get around to shelter and off to the portage. It's about 10:30 and we are now done the Birch Falls portage. So you can see here, this is Birch Falls, and it's a nice little shelf. I don't think I'd want to run it. I'm sure if you're a kayaker, maybe you'd be looking at that thinking, maybe there's a way. Anyways, we're just heading off this way, and I think we have a rapid to run, and then it's up Trout Lake. Nice and easy. So we just ran Little Birch Rapids over there, not their big brother over there. Now we're heading off this way to find a lunch spot. Lunchtime at the south end of Trout Lake. We just docked up here, and it's about 11 o'clock. We figured that's an early lunch, but it'll set us for a little bit of a haul up the lake. And I finally found this camp spot, which I've never been able to spot as I've gone by in the past. Just taking a little tour of what it looks like. Looks kind of interesting. Yeah, at least it has a fire ring. The day is windy. So far, it's going in our direction, and we might get pretty lucky on the way out up Trout. It's about 1:30 and we have come to the middle of Trout Lake to camp. It's a little early to make camp normally, but we've had a couple of long days. We thought, well, why don't we take a nice easy day? We're a good day ahead of our schedule, so I think we're owed one. This camp used to be a little different. There seems to be a lot of downed trees and half-cut logs So I wonder if there was a wind that came through and blew a bunch of things down. They still have a clearing in the middle behind the first row of trees. Not quite as dense as it used to be, but it's still got a nice few tent spots. Another day, another rainstorm. A little blue sky over there, but for the most part it's been rain, stop, rain, stop, rain, stop, rain, stop. We've got our tents up, and now we're just sitting under a tarp waiting for the day to unfold. It's about 2:15 and we're getting on. So a nice evening, sun finally came out. We did have a fire, just put it out now, so I think we're good to go for the evening. Everything's put away, we're just kind of doing the last final touches, and then off to bed. It is roughly 9:30. See you tomorrow. Ahead of myself. So this is Wednesday, morning of Wednesday, and we are all up. It's just after 7 sometime, and we woke up to the sun for the first time in this whole trip, where we're not looking at packing up in the rain. So we look forward to heading out that way, and a nice day. It's just after 8:30. We're getting the final touches on packing. Tents are down, scoured everything to make sure we didn't leave anything behind, and we'll be loading the canoes shortly. Day is fine. We're finally on the water, 10 to 9, and the day looks pretty nice. We're finally underway. So we are at Rooster Tail Rapids, and one of our boats is drying out right now from running and then swimming the rapids just before. But it was actually kind of good. I think it got us into the tone for, hey, this is water, let's have fun with it. And we did a boat over boat rescue in mid-current. That worked. That worked okay.
Textbook boat over boat.
Cool. So we're having lunch here, and this is Rooster Tail Rapids. I'll just walk over here for those of you watching for the first time, so you can see what is Rooster Tail Rapids. On the map it calls it Moose Rapids. I believe Moose Rapids is on the other side of this island, but Rooster Tail Rapids has to do with the big haystack that forms, as you would guess, a rooster tail. So it's running pretty nice right now. We've run this before with canoes. I'm not sure where the heck I would go now, because I've got such a retaining wave in the middle there that, yeah, that would be kind of a fun one to do. Anyways, there you go. So this is plan B. We are now staying at the end of Nepew in this one campground that happens to be on the map. Never been at this one before either, but it's I have poked my head in before, and it seems to be what I remember, a camp spot right near the entrance or a fire pit. A few spots around and up into there. A lot of fallen trees from a couple of years ago, I think, and but it still looks like it's being used. The last spot we were at, which was the start of Nepew, we were in there, it looked fantastic, and then I looked over and there was a bear 100 yards away eating something off of a tree. So we ended up deciding that that probably wasn't the best idea, and this was the next spot we could find. So look at the beautiful evening tonight after a long day of paddling where we kind of came in a little bit later. And so we're just sitting down and having a little bit of a fire, a conversation, and just setting our camp up. Tents are put up already, and we are just having a fire. So today, I think the last full paddling day for us, Thursday, we slept in. We decided to sleep in this morning, and in that case we could start a little fire with the leftover wood from last night. And the day is starting out like most other days, kind of windy, fitful, cold, but you know, we had a good sleep, and so we're ready to hit the trail. It's about 10:30. We're just off for the day. That's our lazy morning. Leaving behind that campground. Served us well last night. Extra hours of sleep. We are heading off that way, and it looks again like the wind is helping us along. This is one of my favorite places on this trip. It's the channel leading into Hayman Lake, and I always enjoy this because of the speed you get and the drifting, and then it's just very peaceful in here. So you can see there a couple of pelicans just winging it over. And if we took a picture for every pelican we saw, we would run out of film on this trip. This is the sluice portage. We're just having lunch at. It's about 12:30 or probably a little past now. Looks a little mucky, so we're gonna have to mud it up for the first little bit. But this is the start of the sluice rapids. I think there's 3 or 4 or 5 of them, and then ends in a big falls. I'll maybe video that a little bit later, but you can kind of see as everything's kind of going, that's the first set of rapids heading out there. Supposedly these the first few are runnable, just the falls would cause some serious challenges. Anyways, that's where we came from. Big rain shower, and now it's all sunny. Go figure. First trip across the sluice portage. I grabbed a few things. I think I just have the canoe left to go. Everybody else is still coming up through the trail there. This is the first look at Sluice Falls. It's looking pretty good right now too. It's about 1:30, so we'll do another one, and then I guess we're off over there. There's Hank's Hotel. Here we just went through all the rapids down through Dieter to get here after that nice portage at the Sluice Falls. Travel score for finding this spot. Spot over there, spot in there, spot in there, spot in there, spot in there, couple of tables.
Everything and a kitchen sink.
And a thing, yeah, and a kitchen sink. Look at that. So this is one of the campgrounds on Barker Island, and we are using this for the first time. Ooh, another place down there. It's a little bit of a hike to get in, like not a real hike, but the water is, you can kind of see through the trees, but this should be pretty nice in here. We're completely sheltered from the wind, which I think over the past few days, I think we're going to be really appreciating. So it's about 8:15 in the morning. We are just clearing camp that way, and now all of our gear loading into the canoes and heading on out. Sure looks like a beautiful morning. So you can see the lake is just kind of calmish, sunny sky, and we're really looking forward to this paddle just to enjoy the last little glimpse before we head back to civilization. Boy, who doesn't mind? Who doesn't mind paddling in this? It's nice and bright, sunny, and a nice calm lake.